Now, the International Civil Aviation Organization is conducting a 12-day universal safety oversight audit of South Africa's civil aviation safety system and oversight capabilities. The audit will also test the efficiency of the oversight responsibility of the South African Civil Aviation Authority. Deputy Director Monitoring Oversight Air Navigation Bureau Captain Denis Guindon joins us to chat more on this process. Captain Denis, appreciate your time. Welcome to South Africa.
Thank you very much, Hugo, to have me.
Now, who's ICAO? I suppose that would be the first question.
ICAO is the International Civil Aviation Organization. It's a United Nations specialized agency in aviation. So we're looking more or less at aviation safety, security, facilitation, and the impact of aviation on the environment.
Okay, so this is your 1000th audit for South Africa. What are your expectations, or what can we expect from this audit?
Thank you. Actually, the program has been designed in 1998. We've been almost 25 years on. And across the year, we carry close to 40 activities every year. And it just happened that being in South Africa right now is the 1,000th activity of the program. So we're carrying an audit review of South Africa Civil Aviation Authority and looking how they perform their job in regards of oversight.
Now, it's been 10 years. You mentioned that this has been occurring. What measures have been implemented, or what sort of growth have we seen for South Africa from when you started the audit to where we are present day?
Excellent. Well, actually, South Africa right now is probably about the top 80% mark in regards of effective implementation of safety standards, which is fairly high, actually. The global average is 68% only.
Wow.
So you're really marking yourself on the continent and as well around the world. But how do we work is when we come up with our report cards to the Civil Aviation Authority at the end of the process, it knows where they can improve, and this is how we're improving the marks around the world. And this is what we'll do with South Africa actually next week when we depart Johannesburg. We leave them with a report card in order to improve their program further.
So we speak about them being at 80%, the average is 68%. What would be ideal for South Africa or any nation for that matter? Well,
actually, they're in the top 80s, and actually I don't think that South Africa has anything to envy to any other places around the world. For me, this is a very high mark. Actually, it tells me that the Civil Aviation Authority is quite effective in their program. And we see it as well, and a good example of this is that South Africa is even helping states surrounding South Africa and their safety program as well, as a sister country, basically.
Now, is it an easy program? So when you do a comparison between South Africa, which is by and large first world in many regards, comparing that to poorer African countries, how does it all compare to the global standard?
Well, actually, we try not to compare states with one another. Actually, we try to mark them in comparison to global average and show where they're really are measuring themselves up to themselves, and hopefully that they have improvements year after year in their program. So every time we come for a visit, as an example, the last time we were here was in 2017. It's been 6 years. We'll see what are the progress of the Civil Aviation Authority there.
Now, in the past few years, have there been any red flags that you've picked up on, and have they been responded to, acted upon, as you would have liked?
Well, actually, from my perspective, I mean, there's been some difficult years for everybody with the pandemic, obviously. I mean, the system kind of shut down, and now we're restarting it. So it's a good time for us to look at other states and being here in South Africa. But mainly, they're recognized as a very responsible authority, and they take action when there's challenges with some of their stakeholders, airlines, or other persons in the system that maybe are not meeting the standards that would hope for.
Captain Denis, my final question. Large planes have been doing phenomenally well in South Africa as far as safety is concerned, and this is based on the fact that none of them have crashed. But the smaller planes, you know, the Cessnas, the two-seaters, the four-seaters, have not fared as well. Is this an area that you will look at?
Well, obviously, yes, and not only in South Africa, but everywhere, actually. I mean, we don't have the same safety standards because of the risk level. So we put a lot of energy in larger airplanes because they carry a lot of personnel. But however, I mean, smaller airplanes, smaller machine basically could be more problematic than the rest. But I would not say that we have a challenge here in South Africa in that regard. We're just comparing to the rest of the states, we're pretty much in the norm.
Captain Denis Guindon is the Deputy Director Monitoring and Oversight Air Navigation Bureau. Appreciate your time, and thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.